Much internal auditors basically do quite a number of things. That includes assurance services. It includes consulting services. They help check to ensure that controls are properly working within organizations. They help organizations to be on top of things on time. They also help management to look into things that they wouldn't have known on time. So basically the internal auditors would call like the millers of the organization. Like they help to look into things, to help things not to go astray.
Now you've talked about, Fatuma, quite a big number of auditors that are members of this institute. Is it voluntary? Is it a requirement that once you're an internal auditor, you must belong to this forum? You know, you must be a member. You know, is it that if someone is even, does it go that extent? Like, for example, the lawyers, if you're a member of the bench, you know, that for you to carry out work, let's understand, actually, why would an auditor, if it's not mandatory, be part of this?
Okay, you see, like I mentioned earlier, the institute helps us really to guide. It guides the auditors in terms of what is happening on the market globally, what is happening. Recently we have new standards, so the institute would it provides trainings on different things of what is happening. It guides where, if someone is going wrong, for example, in terms of what they are supposed to be doing, it comes in and guides. Now, it might not be mandatory right now to be a member of the Institute of Internal Auditors, but it would be for every internal auditor. It would be a good practice or a good thing to be a member of the internal auditors because of the resources that are provided at the institute. Among them, of course, are trainings. We have the conference coming up in May. So all these, when you're a member, you have subsidized prices and all the good things that would come with membership. But very importantly, the knowledge and the changing risks landscape, you cannot go without interacting with the different members of the profession.
You may be left behind because of the various new developments, international standards as well. Now, going back to June, one of the things that I'm aware the Institute is pushing for soon is the Internal Auditors Conference 2024. Let's have a brief about this.
Yeah, it's, I think I would prefer Fatuma to go.
Okay, Vice Chairperson first.
Yes. Thank you. Being we have come up with this conference, like we always do on an annual basis. The main reason, like I said, one, we have to network as auditors. And two, we need to be knowing what is happening on, you know, what is happening in the world globally in terms of the internal audit standards and the best practices for internal audit. So this conference 2024 is scheduled to be in May. And of course, before we even think of the internal auditors, we think of the board, because internal auditors report to the board. So we do have annual board and audit committee workshops. And the one of 2024 is scheduled to take place on 6th of May, 2024 at Kampala Serena. Well, after that, we'll go for the annual conference that begins on 7th of May to 9th at Commonwealth Munyonyo. So that is the conference. I mean the board audit committee workshop and the conference for 2020.
Now, June, yes, Fatuma having given us what is going to happen, let's look at what are you expecting to get out of this conference?
Thank you so much. First of all, when you look at our theme for the conference, it's just captivating, arise and elevate the impact. So we are asking internal auditors to join us in this annual conference that we have, because we have quite a number of things that have changed in our profession. The internal audit standards have changed. They were released early this year around March. And we are having a number of regulations that are coming up, ESG coming into play. We have a number of things springing up, and Internal audit as a profession requires someone to know a lot of things, to have a wider scope of knowledge, and we expect internal auditors to be on top of things, to give insight to the organization. So in this conference, we expect a number of discussions that's spanning from the recently released global standards, and then we talk about the upcoming issues. We are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about ESG, that's becoming a serious issue. So we are going to talk all these issues in the discussions. We have a number of panelists that are coming with a lot of experiences and...
Okay, number of panelists that will be joining. Now, who are the people that are invited for this particular conference? I'm not an auditor. Mathematics was a challenge. And I don't deal so much with figures. But am I invited?
Yes, you are invited. You know, the conference, we invite the members of the Institute of Internal Auditors, but also the non-members of the Institute. The topics to be discussed don't only look at the profession of internal audit, but everything. For example, ESG, we are looking at the environment, the social, the governance. Some of you have companies. How do you run your company? We are looking at the bit of health. Not necessarily, we are not just looking at internal audit alone. We are looking at health issues. We are going to discuss issues to do with family or, you know. So it is, you are invited. So we are inviting all the members, accountants, presenters like yourself, well-wishers to be there for the conference.
Slightly, when we talk about internal auditing now, or auditors, that rings a bell to many people. And John, why do people fear auditors? You know, I just got a message from one of my good friends. He's called CJ Emmanuel, one of my OBs in Deja Senior Secondary School. And he told me, well, those are trouble causers. And I'm like, why? He says, please, this is a question on behalf of a friend who normally watches us, and he's saying, ask them, why are they feared? An organization telling them the auditors are coming, it is trouble.
Thanks so much. That's an interesting question, actually. It's a discussion that has been around for many years. Gone are the days when auditors have been looked at as policemen or policewomen. Today's internal auditing is not, we are not actually encouraging it to be looked at into that way, because we encourage internal auditors to work in a collaborative manner. We encourage internal auditors to, you know, to work with a relationship that is positive with the stakeholders, because that's the only way we can get meaningful information and also help organizations to grow, to thrive. So I don't think it's real good for auditors to be termed as policemen. And also, it depends on the ethical standards of an individual internal auditor or an individual auditor, because we are not all wired in the same way, the way we handle things, but ethically, we are not supposed to be looked at in that way, because we are supposed anyway to work in an amicable relationship with the clients, with our stakeholders, collaboratively, because we are all working towards a certain goal.
Fatuma, you must supplement on this.
Yeah, true. And to supplement on what John was saying, you find that like it can be an individual auditor who comes in as a police person, but however, what the Institute and the standards encourage is to work hand in hand with management and the clients to make sure that you add value to the clients. Because when you come in as an auditor, whether in-house or outsourced, you are looking at the common vision or goal of the organization. So you want to add value in such a manner that you achieve the goal or the vision of the organization. So one of the things that we are encouraged to do as auditors is to first of all educate management that we are not there to police them, but rather to work hand in hand with them. Because many times some of these things come out after, as you talk about them, yeah? As you talk about these things, of course, people start to get used to you and the like. But very importantly, it is important to emphasize that we are looking at the same vision of the organization. And we do not take it for granted that this one knows. As auditors, we're encouraged to keep reminding that we are not here to hunt you or to police. And the other thing that we do is we engage as we are doing these audits. When we have a finding, before you run to the board as an auditor, you are expected to speak to the line person that you are auditing, the management, and then where things have failed and the like, of course you inform the board, but at least someone would have known what is happening and what is going to the board. So it implies that eventually with time, what your friend mentioned, it is going to go away, but we are encouraged to work.
Now, John, let's also look at ethics and integrity in this profession. Yes, we are more of the conference, but also some of these challenges coming out. Because we've had times when a person says, so I was told the auditors have come, they're auditing, there's funds imbalances here, unless I do this, they can maybe play around with the report. How has this institute, or as you put in the profession, pushed for ethics and ethical ways and integrity amongst auditors in the country?
Thank you so much. To begin with, ethical standards, I would say to be ethical is individual. Like someone has to, those are like inbuilt, inborn characters of a person. But then the institute comes up with a number of things. We have the global standards that guides our profession. But not only the standards, because having standards on paper alone may not work, may not help. So what the institute is doing is to do periodical trainings to internal auditors, for internal auditors, to remind them of their ethical standards, ethical requirements that they have to abide by when they are carrying out their activities. So we have a number of trainings all throughout there for internal auditors. And not only for internal auditors, but also for the people they work with, the stakeholders. Like Fatima was talking about the board. The board, like the audit committee board, other boards of the organization, because they need to know also the dilemmas or the situations in which auditors work and what can go astray, what can cause an auditor to be unethical, so that they can also try to touch a button and check if someone is going off the line. They say, hey, look, this is what is guiding you. Why are you doing A, B, C, D? So basically, the Institute of Internal Auditors is doing a number of trainings that help sharpen and remind internal auditors what they are mandated to do when they are carrying out their work. But then I said in the beginning that to be ethical, it should be within you. It begins with you. And then this other knowledge helps you just to sharpen what you have.
Basically, I love the fact that you said there are a number of trainings that are being conducted, but also there's some principles that are imbued within a person. Yeah. The institute, let's also look at its mandate. I'm still looking at to what extent does it go to instill these values, to from saying we came together, we offer these trainings. Do you have a upper hand on membership, on the members? Are there bits of regulations that maybe if I am somewhere and I'm looking for auditors, and I'll ask, are you members of the Institute of Internal Auditors? So are there some benefits that I stand as a client? Does it go to some levels of instilling discipline, ethical conduct, and all that, Vice Chairperson?
Thank you very much. Yes, we do have standards. We have the IPPF, the International Professional Practices Framework, that guides us as internal auditors. And like John mentioned, we do get the reminders, but also to make it a bit deep, we also have a qualification that is called Certified Internal Auditor. And on an annual basis, you attest, you confirm to the Global Institute that you're upholding the standards of internal auditing. Now, in the event of misbehaving, we do have a committee at the Institute, for example, that would, of course, they would call that person at the Institute of Internal Auditors, Uganda, but even the global, in case it moved upwards, then the person can be disciplined in case of any unethical issues. But yes, you are at an advantage when you get a member of the Institute of Internal Auditors to be a member of the Institute of Internal Auditors to be your internal auditor because of the knowledge. You see, the networking that we get, the information that we get at the Institute, you cannot get it when you're seated in your comfort zone or if you're not a member. So because of that, of course, you will see that we've said to encourage people to get certified internal auditors, but also members who are of the Institute so that they can really understand and articulate what they are talking about in terms of the internal audit profession.
Well, I'm still with members of the Institute of Internal Auditors, and we are discussing issues regarding auditing, but also the coming conference of internal auditors that is going to be running here in Kampala. What should we expect there, and why this conference? I have the vice chairperson of this institute. Now, John, we know that coming together, there is power in it, and the vice chairperson has just explained how this is all going to be. What are some of the key areas that you're going to be focusing on? We have an auditor watching us. Maybe they're eager to come to this conference, but they want to know what exactly are we going to be discussing.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I said in the beginning, and the vice chairperson conference committee, also Fatuma was talking about it. The theme alone, in the beginning, like I said, arise and elevate the impact. So within this theme alone, it just, if you're inquisitive enough and you look at the theme, it can run through quickly in your mind and say, okay, as an internal auditor, there are things that I need to look at, there are things that I need to consider for me to arise and elevate the impact within the organization I work for. So the things that are going to be discussed in this conference is quite a number. Like I talked about the newly released internal audit global standards.
Okay, that is an auditor watching.
Yes.
Well, you must get to know these. Yeah. Otherwise, you may submit certain reports and they tell you this is old-fashioned way of doing things. The world moved away from that. That could have an impact to your client and to you as a person. Please continue.
Yeah, so we are going to dive deep into understanding these global standards in the conference to know what should the internal auditor of today do in order to add value to the client they serve. We are also, like Fatuma said, we are also going to be looking at mental health. We are going to be looking at, because of the many things that auditors handle, there are things that you can look at and you feel like your head is about to get off. So
that's why I don't like figures.
Exactly. So because of the many secrets that you handle, there is that mental impact that can be on an auditor. So we're also bringing in specialists in mental health to help us understand how can we cope up with these kind of situations. We are also looking at how can we add value to our businesses as internal auditors. There are quite a number of compliance issues coming up. Not only the internal audit standards, but we have ESG that is becoming a talk of every day for everyone. So some of these things are going to be discussed and many more within a span of 3 days. So we shall have a number of things that will be talked about.
Maybe, Fatuma, is this residential, 3 days? Let's also get more of these details.
Okay, the conference is a 3-day conference, residential, and it can also be non-residential. But we have organized for the members who would want to reside at Munyonyo at a subsidized price. So we call upon members, non-members, general public to come for the conference. Preferably, it should be residential because there are a number of activities that are going to be done in the evenings. For example, we have the conference gala where we dress up and dance, you know, we cease to be the internal auditors and start to happen. We have exercises. So we call upon all members, non-members, well-wishers to come and stay with us in Munyonyo, come 7th to 9th May 2024.
Well, I have to go for a break, but there's a very interesting message that has come in. I'll discuss it with my guests offset. In case so, then I'll pose it to them when we return. Let's go for a very short break.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good tax policies strike a balance between generating revenue for public services, promoting economic growth, and ensuring fairness in the distribution of the tax burden. To ensure good tax policies, the government, through the Line Ministry, pays attention to fiscal sustainability, promoting research and development to allow innovation, simplicity, and transparency to help the citizens understand their obligations, efficiency in tax administration, and progressive taxation to balance the tax burden among the population. This week on your favorite program, Behind the Headlines, with your host Timothy Nyangweso and a team of distinguished panelists with deep knowledge on taxation and policy will share their thoughts on taxation at 10 p.m. Be part of the discussion online and on mobile.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The cardinal role of a government is maintaining law and order, safeguarding citizens' rights, and providing essential public goods and services. Throughout its tenure, the government has consistently upheld these principles. This foundation creates an environment conducive to delivering crucial social services to citizens through diverse approaches such as taxation, strategic budgeting, and effective policy implementation. A transformative education system, advancing healthcare provisions, enhancing social welfare, and propelling infrastructure growth, all of which continue to evolve daily to cater to the population's expectations. Supported by a meticulously organized network of ministries, government remains committed to serving its citizens. Coming soon on your public broadcaster, The Front Bench, your interface with the government every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with Joram Paul Sonko, only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. It is the Extra, and we are here early morning, 6:30 till 9. There's an extension of the Extra, so please make it a date with us every weekday, the Fantastic Four, because we spice up, we break the darkness that you may have gone through, the stress of the night, the previous day. Well, we brighten your mornings. Some jokes there, information regarding what is happening both locally and internationally, so you can't afford to miss a fully packed show in all segments. tourism is there, sports is there, press review is there. So I'm waiting for you tomorrow. But in the extra, I still have internal auditors or auditors. And we've just been talking about the conference that is coming up for internal auditors. But also we want to know what more beyond the conference. And I want to begin with John here. We've had issues first of certification, and I'm very eager for us to dive into that area, John.
Thank you so much. When we talk about internal auditing, like you would talk about certified public accountants, talk about people certified in maybe supply chain management. As internal auditors also, we have a certification. We have a number of certifications that help us in our day-to-day activities that we do. The very first prestigious, I would call it prestigious, certification is the Certified Internal Auditor certification, which is a globally recognized certification. And it is awarded to people who have gotten it in how can I say it, people who have worked for it. You have to earn it. So in other words, you have to do examinations, you have to read, understand, comprehend information, and then pass exams. And then you're awarded that certification. It is a certification that is awarded by the US, our Global Institute of Internal Auditors, based in Florida, USA. And this certification will take you to heights all over the world. It's not only in Uganda. You will be recognized wherever you go with the CIA. And what someone needs to do to be a certified internal auditor, you don't need to be someone who is already working in internal auditing. It can be someone who is still at campus, who wants to pursue that line of professionalism. You can come to the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda in Ntinda Rovis House. You get the full details of how you can get enrolled into this certification. And you know quite a number of things, including fees that you can pay. It is, the certification is done in two ways. There is what we call the traditional way, and there is what we call the hybrid or the challenge way. IIA Uganda has partnered with ISPAO to have accountants who are certified in Uganda who would want to take up the CIA certification to do a challenge, one exam. But this one exam has all the three. CIA has 3 exams. It has the foundation of internal auditing. It has the core. It's not actually the core, but something that is done almost on a daily basis, managing internal audit, and then the part 3 that has a number of things, including IT, including financial management, a lot of things. So the traditional way you do paper by paper. You pass one and then you do the next one. Now, for those who have a CPA and FCCA, they have a chance to do a challenge paper. You do one paper, but it combines all the 3 parts. And they all have different amounts that you pay for. Yeah, these details can be obtained from the Institute of Internal Auditors. So once you do and you pass this certification, you actually get results instantly. When you sit for your exam, you get your results instantly, and within 3 days, you get your certification. And then we have also what we call certification in risk management assurance. Like I said in the beginning, internal auditors work with a diverse mind of knowledge. So we need our people to get different knowledges. Even if we are not, internal auditors are not supposed to be risk managers, but we check what risk managers do. But you need to have that knowledge with you. So this certification in risk management is basically for people who have already been certified internal auditors. So the first step is for you to get the certification in internal auditing, and then you get enrolled into certification in risk management. And that has quite a number of benefits, because you know how risk is managed. Because internal auditing, basically, it's a risk-based audit that we, practice that we do. So you have to have knowledge about risk. You need to understand how do you go about risk. We also have a certification, we call it internal audit practitioners certification. And it's, you do it in 2 years. And once you're done, that certification is not like renewed. You don't renew, you're not required to file CPEs. But it's for students at university, people who are in management but would like to know what internal auditing is about, things to do with people who are still into the profession, new into the profession, but would want to, they don't have the certification or they have not yet earned it, but they want to have that recognition. So once you get this practitioner certification, you can use it on your CV, you can use it anywhere, and it is globally recognized. And the other thing is, what is very crucial, like Fatuma said, when you get certified as an internal auditor, the benefits are, you, first of all, you'll be recognized worldwide. The other thing is that professionally, you're looked at as a person with a wider scope of knowledge. And the third thing is, of course, the more you get books in our profession, the more your chances of getting paid higher becomes. And the survey that has been done by the Global Institute of Internal Auditors shows us that internal auditors who are certified internal auditors have a higher chance of earning higher pay compared to the rest. So that is also one. The other thing is, it widens your understanding, your knowledge. You get to know how to do things right. Yeah. And once you get these certifications, in a span of 1 year, after from the date you're certified, you're supposed to start now filing the CPEs to show that you're continuously learning, adding to the knowledge that you have, because things keep on changing. And yeah, it's the reason why actually we have this conference, because in the conference, people will earn CPEs that they can use to file for their certifications. And we are required to file like 40 CPE per year. The beauty with this is that when you have a CIA, you can use the same CPE hours to file for the CRMA, the Certification and Risk Management Assurance, because it's the same institute that is awarding those certifications.
Well, so much certification here and there, but the benefits, like you've heard of them. Now, Fatuma, away from the certification, the conference, I'm also told of a board, is it not a conference? The workshop, I still throw more light about that.
Thank you very much. The board workshop is Board and Audit Committee workshop. It is organized as we are organizing the conference on an annual basis. What we do, we call upon members who might not even be internal auditors, but they sit on different boards. They sit on audit committees. They are CEOs, finance managers, to just meet in one room and talk about board matters. So before the conference on 7th, on 6th of May, we shall be having a board and audit committee workshop at Kampala Serena. And mainly we call upon both private and public sector, because the workshop is not only looking at the private sector, but we also have a session dedicated for public sector too. So we call upon members of the public, boards, management personnel to come 6th of May 2024 to come to Kampala Serena. At that board workshop, we do have the same theme of the same theme as the conference. So we are going to still make sure that the board members, audit committee members get the knowledge that they require. We have different speakers at the board and audit committee workshop, and we shall talk about different issues to do with, of course, succession planning, talent management. We shall talk about ESG, the trends, what is happening right now. For example, you don't expect a board member to be looking at the CEOs of 50 years before are different from now when the CEOs are, people are becoming CEOs at 30. So we need to know how to manage talent, succession planning, and we talk about all those issues. Thank you.
Well, I must let you people out of the studios for continuity of the programming. But before I do that, I'm just going to give each one of you a minute and get your parting shot. I'll begin with the gentleman.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you for hosting us and allowing us to shed more light about what internal auditors do. It's really good, and would appreciate even to have more sessions of this so that the world can know that internal auditors are not policemen. Yeah, thanks so much, and we want to create UBC Uganda for always stepping up to ensure that the public is made aware of what we do. Yeah.
Fatuma, as we wind up.
As we wind up, as the vice chairperson of the conference committee, I'd like to call upon members, well-wishers, non-members, accountants, board members to come and attend the board and audit committee workshop together with the conference. It is scheduled for 6th of May. That is the board and audit committee workshop, and 7th to 9th for the conference at Common Resort Munyonyo. For the workshop, it is at Serena. Come and join us. You will not regret. And I would like to thank UBC for hosting us, and we look forward to having more interaction.
Well, for someone who wants to, is there like maybe where they can find this information? You have a website?
Yes, all this information can be found on the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda's website. And of course, in case you're nearby in Tinda, you can pass by the institute itself, but it is readily available on the website. Well,
thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. And above all, my bosses, our viewers, thank you very much for being with us and keeping it on UBC TV. Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, wishing you the best of your day. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success, the bank commander, not the bank teller.